Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are here with another finale for the year. This is my Pan That Face palette finale. So I've been panning my Hourglass Ambient Edit Ghost Hourglass Ambient Edit Ghost palette. I don't know, whichever. It's the Ghost version. This was released a couple of years ago, and I've been trying to pan it in this project, and I had quite a decent amount of product left last month, so I've been really pushing to try to get it through. And I'm going to let you know if I was able to do that today or if I still have a little bit left. So I'm going to jump into the update, but before I do so, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So again, I am panning the Ambient Edit Ghost palette. It's super dirty, super reflective. So I'm not going to show you too long, but I'm going to insert the footage of what it looks like. So again, obviously I've been working on this one for a long time, all year. And you can see when I first introduced this, I had all 6 shades still in here. Some shades obviously had more use than others. I believe the Lost Blush and the Bronzer were the ones I used the most, but overall, you know, it was pretty untouched. So, as you can see, originally I started off focusing on the lightest setting shade, and I believe also I used the blush underneath it first. So I used the 2 center shades in the beginning, and that was my main focus. And then when we got towards the summer, I started focusing on the darkest setting powder and the Lost Blush a bit more. And as you can see, I was eventually able to pan and also start finishing shades. I don't know how quickly I'm going to go through everything, so it's a bit hard because it's going to be quite a long overview, I guess, of the palette. But yeah, that's what it's been looking like. It's been very fun to work on this one, and I think at this point I'm going to show you what it looked like at the last update. So last month I still had 3 of the powders left. We had the first setting powder, the highlighter, and the bronzer left, and I have been working really hard on getting use out of these, and this is what the palette looks like today. So some very exciting updates. I'm so proud to say that I was able to finish up the whole palette. It did take a lot of work, and yes, you know, I had to reach for these quite a few times. I'm gonna go through the usage, but I've been really diligent in using those 3 shades every single day, and yeah, I was able to finish them, which again is a little bit surprising, but because, you know, I was hoping to, but I wasn't sure if it was gonna happen, so very happy with the results. Yes, we have a fully empty palette. I'm so excited. This is my first ever Pan That Face palette, so I'm happy that I was able to finish it. So yeah, I'm going to go through the usage of this one. I'm going to have the picture up already with the, I'm going to do it this side, with the progress picture from last month to this month. I'm going to talk you through it. So first up the palette, we have the shade Dim Light, and that was one of the shades that was still in here. So since the last update, I used this one 28 additional times, and as you can see, I was able to finish this product up. It took me 199 uses in total in the project this year to finish up that shade in total. But yeah, happy that that's gone. Then next to that we had, actually, I just realized we had 4 shades left. I said 3, we had 4 shades left. We also had the Fuse Light left. So this is another shade that we also had left at the last update. This is also setting powder, but I had not that much left of this one, but I did have a little bit. So this is one that I used 16 additional times in order to finish, and it took me 128 uses to finish that shade, so less than the darker one, which makes sense because I could use this one a bit more heavily. But yeah, 128 for that one. Last on the top row, we have the highlighter, and this is the one that I'm most surprised that I was able to finish. I did work really hard on this one. I used it every single day mixed in with my blush. I'm actually using it today for the very last time. And it just gives a really glowy blush look, so that's how I used it up. And this specific shade took me 26 additional uses to finish up, for a total of 144 in the project. Alright, so that is the top row. Let's move on to the second row. So first off on the second row, we had the last shade standing since the last update, and that is the bronzer. So it's another one that I've been working really hard on. I actually ended up towards the end mixing the bronzer and, wait, is that a bronzer? Yeah, the bronzer and Dim Light. So these 2 are mixed because the bronzer ended up being a little bit, it wasn't like that deep, but I wanted to be able to use it a bit, you know, more without thinking about it. So I mixed it a lot with Dim Light because Dim Light was a bit too dark for me as a setting powder, and the bronzer was a little bit darker than I originally wanted, so they kind of toned each other down a little bit. Or well, they made a good bronzing shade basically. So that's how I used them, and I used that one 28 additional times for a total of 95 in the project to finish. I think it was slightly lower again because this product already had a decent amount of use on it since the start of the year. I already used this palette and focused on that shade before. Then we had the 2 blushes, which were already finished at the last update, and Iridescent Rose is the one I finished most recently, and that one, it took me 169 uses to finish in the project, and again, that was completed. And then lastly, we had Sublime Flush, which took me 99 uses in total to finish in the project, and that is the palette completely done. So looking at the usage, the one that took me the longest to finish was the shade Dim Light. That one took me 199 uses to finish. And the one that took me the least is the bronzer, which took me 95. So that is the summary of the palette. I'm very, very happy. I'm so pleased that this one is done. I'm a little bit sad because I did really enjoy this palette, but I'm just happy that I completed it and I was able to finish it up. And before I wrap up the video, I'm just going to talk you through the weight, let you know exactly how much product was in here, and how much I was able to use up in the last month. To recap one last time, this palette weighed at introduction 138.32 grams, and it has an advertised weight of 8.4 grams in the palette, which means that I have to finish up 0.70 grams a month to be on track. That was like my baseline. In Q1, I was able to finish up 2.33 grams, which was higher than the goal. The goal would have been 2.1 grams, so very happy with that. And then in Q2, I used up 2.14 grams. Again, the goal was 2.1, so I was just above, but I was really happy again because I was able to hit that goal. And a total at that point, I had used 4.47 grams of the palette for a goal of 4.2. So again, I was ahead, which is good. Then for Q3, I was able to use 2.69 grams. So again, ahead of schedule of 2.1 grams. And in total, at that point, I had reached for 7.16 grams of the palette, where the goal was 6.3. So again, very, very happy that I was standing at a good point moving into Q4. In Q4, we're going to go month by month. In October, I was able to reach for 0.87 grams. So again, above that goal. November was a really good month for me. I reached for 1.38 grams. I really tried pushing towards the last 2 months of the year to get as much use as I could, and you can tell that in numbers too. So 1.38 grams used in November. And at that point, the palette said at 128.91 grams. So that is where I was at the last update and my kind of baseline point. And today the palette weighs 127.42 grams, which means that I was able to use up 1.49 grams of product in the past month, which is, I think, my highest month yet. So very, very, very happy by that. I'm happy that I pushed through and I was able to use so much product. And in total, that means that I used up 10.90 grams, so almost 11 grams, which is, again, very impressive considering the palette only has 8.4 grams of advertised product. And also, this product wasn't like untouched. I definitely used it in the past. I think it probably would be closer to like 11.5 grams, which means that it would be, 3 grams above the advertised weight, approximately, I would guess, which is something that's really, really impressive. But yeah, it took me 10.90 grams in total to finish this palette, and I'm so happy that I was able to get through it in the year. So yes, you guys, that is going to be it for my finale. I am going to do a pan face palette next year too. I have decided what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to let you know yet. I'm going to let you know when I introduce that palette in the beginning of January. But yeah, super happy that I completed this one. I'm not sure if I'm going to complete my next year's pan palette, but I'm going to do my very best. But I'm happy that the first time I ever did a pan face palette, it was a success. So yeah, I'm going to wrap up the video here. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys.